Now, Boruto Naruto Next Generation displays and portrays the future of the Naruto world and also the future of the scale of power in the series. By the end of Naruto Shippuden, we left off with Naruto and Sasuke, or specifically Naruto becoming the strongest shinobi of all time. But as the Boruto series progresses, the power scale continued to expand as we were introduced to concepts such as androids and the Uzumaki clan with stronger and stronger characters like Code, Ada, and Damon, and we still have a character like Ishiki above them all. And two characters whose powers seem to keep growing literally by the chapter are Boruto and Kawaki, who both possess the all-powerful Karma Seal. And as we're seeing with the time skip, it's obvious that the Boruto series still has a long way to go, and with Naruto and Sasuke, well, let's just say they aren't what they were on the power scale when they started the series, which is untouchably at the top. Basically, they got handed that nerf special from the Boruto writers, which kind of leaves the position of forever strongest of all time wide open. So in today's video, we'll be discussing and theorizing as to Boruto's future power and abilities, specifically by the end of the series. And if by then, will he have not only surpassed Naruto and Sasuke at their prime, but have surpassed everyone? Will Boruto Uzumaki become the strongest character of all time in the Boruto series? Let's talk about it. But before we get into that, you already know what's good YouTube is basically anime, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more valid Naruto Boruto content, turn on post notifications, and most importantly, make sure to let me know your thoughts on Boruto and how you think he would scale up at the end of the series, as well as other characters and how they would end up. But with that all said, into the video. Now, to answer the question I asked in my intro, can Boruto suppress everyone? Well, yes, I actually do think he can. But before we start to get into Boruto's future power and how that would scale, I think it's important to look at Boruto's current power and how he even got to this position in which he could currently be top 15 in power in all the characters we've seen, maybe even top 10, and regarded as a threat to the entire shinobi world. So this insane power jump is mainly due to the Karma Seal, a seal implanted by Momoshiki on Boruto when he was defeated, and it works as a genetic backup for the Uzumaki clan and allows them to slowly revive in the host's body, meaning Boruto is a vessel, or technically was a vessel from Momoshiki. As in Boruto chapter 67, Momoshiki sacrificed his revival to heal Boruto after he got turned into a donut by Kawaki, but the power and abilities of the Karma Seal still stand. This seal allows Boruto to practically do anything an Uzumaki could do, on top of the abilities of the Pacific Uzumaki that inhabits him, which is Momoshiki. While still in control of his body, because there is a risk to him losing control to Momoshiki while using these powers, he can absorb any and all chakra-based attacks. There's a dramatic increase in both his speed and strength. It gives him access to Momoshiki's battle experience, which is pretty cool considering Momoshiki is millions of years old, and he can also teleport himself and others to different dimensions. However, Boruto has only shown to exhibit some of the true potential of the Karma Seal and Momoshiki's power with full control of his body only once in the fight against Code. But even that is only a fraction of what his Karma Seal was able to do, as when Momoshiki took control of his body showed us Boruto was only going surface level with the seal. He was able to levitate and fly around with ease. He can create and manipulate those black rods meant to disrupt chakra. It further increased physical stats as well as his damage output of his ninjutsu techniques, as he is easily able to make a Rasengan on the same scale as the one Boruto and Naruto created to destroy him, which is the parent and son Rasengan, and also gave him access to a Byakugan in his right eye. And for what we've seen time and time again when dealing with the Uzumaki clan, the abilities of chakra absorption and the increased physical stats has already put Boruto in a tier of his own. A tier that even the current 5 Kage and possibly current Naruto and Sasuke aren't touching, seeing as the shinobi world revolves around chakra and chakra usage. Which is why Boruto, like I mentioned, is a worldwide threat to shinobi. But again, how does he currently scale to the other characters? Now, giant disclaimer, let's get this straight. I am a casual when it comes to power scaling. I mean, you'll never find me calculating anything when it comes to feats, so take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. But this is my rough, very loose, weakest to strongest tier-based power scale of the Boruto characters currently. Okay, so first we got a tier where I put the current 5 Kage, excluding Naruto of course. You can also include people like Kakashi, Rock Lee, Sakura, or even Shikamaru into this tier. Then we got the tier of the car innards of the car organization like Delta, Boro, and Victor, but not Code and Kashin Koji. Finally, we got a tier of the accounting duo of current Naruto and Sasuke, which is Sasuke without the Rinnegan, and Naruto with the strongest statesman we've seen yet. And I consider this tier to be the closest tier to God level, as I think we'd all consider Naruto and Sasuke with further nerves to be in that tier. I also like to include Orochimaru in this tier because, well, it's Orochimaru, as well as include Kashin Koji. Now for this next tier, you can take Amuro for this one because in our him in his lab and you can beat 90% of the population or step into God territory. I would put characters like Boroshiki, Karoshiki, both characters who are currently at 80%, Code with his limiters on, Ada, and also Damon into this tier. Next we got the Uzumaki clan, but this tier is specifically for fused Momoshiki. Then we have a prime 6-path Kurama Hokage Naruto and a prime Rinnegan Sasuke tier, followed by a full power Jigen tier. And finally, for my top power tier in Naruto history, we got Ishiki Otsutsuki, Baryon no Naruto, and the Otsutsuki God foreshadowed by Ishiki. So yeah, that was a lot and probably a little semi-controversial, but for those of you who still here, the purpose of the power tier scale is to show that even with Boruto's godlike abilities, he is currently, as of now, nowhere near becoming the strongest of all time in the series, but I obviously made this video because I think he still has that potential. Now, the Karma Seal can only take him so far, as even with the full manifestation and the potential of the Karma unlocked and mastered, you'll just be getting the full power of a base Momoshiki, or at least that is what we know of Boruto's Karma Seal as of now. A base Momoshiki, which is obviously weaker than a fused Momoshiki, the same fused Momoshiki that got absolutely embarrassed by pre-nerf but drained Naruto and Sasuke in the Boruto movie. But here's the deal with that, I assume we'll be getting the same deal with the Jinchuriki Tail Beast combo being stronger than just the Tail Beast, as the manifestation of Karma Seal just further amps Boruto's base power and techniques. Like I mentioned earlier with the Emperor Sengon, and even when Borushiki was able to make Rasen Dawn, which is practically a Rasen bullet out of Boruto's regular Sengon. And even then, I still don't think we've seen the fullest extent of Momoshiki's power in Boruto to begin with, which is kind of funny considering he was defeated like 5 years ago. Because if you look at almost every Otsutsuki clan member that's made an appearance in the series, each of them tends to have a distinct ability or skill set that sets them apart from the rest. Urashiki was able to time travel and extract his opponent's chakra abilities, Kaguya had the ash killing bones along with other crazy abilities, and Ishiki was my favorite one we've seen yet. In his right eye, he possesses a pretty neat dojutsu that allows him to use Sukuna Hikona, which lets him shrink non-living things, including himself, and also bring it back to its original size, and Daikoku Ten, which lets him teleport his shrunken items. Now when it comes to Momoshiki, we have seen him use an ability that seems exclusive to him, but also pretty weird and not a very main character friendly ability for Boruto, which is him being able to turn his opponents to chakra pills through the Rinnegan on his palms, and if he eats these chakra pills, he can absorb his opponent's powers and abilities, which resulted in fused Momoshiki out of Kinshiki. And we know that an Otsutsuki's unique ability and skill set tends to be manifested through their Karma Seal, as we saw Kawaki using Ishiki's dojutsu technique. But knowing Boruto as the character he is, I don't think he's one to be going around eating people and absorbing their powers like a little goblin. I mean, that's more of a Yuji Itadori thing from a Jujutsu Kaisen, but I digress. And in the timeskip version of him, there's no sign of any Rinnegan on his palms once he activates the Karma Seal, so that ability for Boruto is out the question. But there is a pretty underrated and forgotten ability of Momoshiki, and that's he can see other people's fate with his Byakugan, something that no other Byakugan user has shown to do, as he saw Boruto's fate when it comes to the Jogan. So I do think this ability will and should be in Boruto's skillset once he fully masters his seal, and even if that's not a very combat-like ability, I still think it could come to play. I mean, imagine if he could see the fate of a battle before it even started. And it's pretty clear that the Boruto writers are going to continue to expand on the Otsutsuki clan and add in more crazy godlike abilities. So I will still think it's safe to believe that the path for Boruto to unlock more hidden abilities from the Karma's Otsutsuki power is still open. I mean, maybe there are some techniques that was in Momoshiki's arsenal that was never showcased, because if you know how lazy and cocky Momoshiki was when taking on Naruto and Sasuke. I mean, that entire fight was literally the perfect representation of an angry kid having a tantrum and two adult but godlike parents having to sit him down. But like I said earlier, even with the full power of the Karma Seal, it shouldn't really push Boruto past someone like Fused Momoshiki in that range of power level, and Fused Momoshiki isn't nowhere near the title of the strongest no matter how much he brags. But this is exactly where I feel like Boruto himself comes to play. He isn't one to just lay down and rely on the power of the Karma Seal, and it's pretty evident that during the time skip, he does undergo some training, possibly with his master Sasuke, seeing as he has Sasuke's cloak after the time skip. And as of right now, 13/14-year-old base Boruto is already nearing, if not already attained, Jonin level, as we clearly saw in that AO fight where he was outdoing Konohamaru, quotation, and elite Jonin Konoha, quotation. Konohamaru, please do better. And that is all without time skip level training. I mean, he is A and the prodigy of his class, and like I said earlier, Momoshiki's power doesn't just add to Boruto but multiplies. So the stronger base Boruto is, the stronger he'll be when using a mastered Karma Seal. And just like his master Sasuke, I believe Boruto to be of that mindset of getting on that grind, you know, and learning and possibly creating new jutsu and techniques. And we also what Shippuden Sasuke was able to do right after the Naruto time skip with Kirin, and how he arguably became Kage level. So imagine what he could do with Boruto, someone who is, no offense to Part 1 Sasuke, I mean that dude was him, but with Boruto who is inherently more gifted and talented than him. And I feel like we're already seeing a peak of Boruto on that path, as he is already close to mastering the wind release for Sengon as a Genin, which is something his father could only attain post time skip. And even though this is all theorizing and maybe a bit of headcanon, just a bit. At the end of the day, I think post Timeskip based Boruto, who is probably low Kage level by them, coupled with a fully mastered Karma Seal, could push into the power tier and possibly above the likes of Prime surpassed Naruto and adult Rinnegan Sasuke. And if that does become ending up true, that would be kind of cool to see Boruto a part of a power tier and scale that the likes of Sasuke and other old gen characters aren't touching. Well, unless you're Naruto, because as we saw in my rough power scale, that would still leave Baryon mode Naruto, Ishiki, and of course the Otsutsuki god we have never seen above Boruto. And because of that, at this point in the video, we're gonna have to step into some real headcanon, some real theorizing, and I'm going to have to leave that power gap up to the ever mysterious Dojutsu of Boruto, the Jogan. Now believe me, I know, trust me, I know for some of the Boruto manga fans out there, we are obviously past the halfway point of the pre-Timeskip Boruto series, and we've still yet to see the Jogan make an appearance in the manga, unless you're counting the Timeskip scene we've seen in the beginning of the series, but even that's debatable, as well as in the panel where Ishiki referenced that alien god. And we haven't seen it in the anime in God knows how many years. On top of that, the most of the Jogan lore and foreshadowing comes from the anime and with no actual manga canon. But personally, I believe and am willing to bet with everything that the Jogan will play a role in Boruto's future power. But if it does end up becoming like a filler Dojutsu or something like that, remember, it was not me who made the bet, but it was Tsunade, okay? You know how she is with the gambling. Anyways, as we see in the Timeskip fight between Boruto and Kawaki, or at least in the anime, you can't really see this in the manga, I do believe he was using the Jogan, as if you look closely, you can see dark coloration around his pupil, which is something we haven't seen from any Byakugan in the series. And we see the same eye look in the manga again when Ishiki referenced an Otsutsuki god, and obviously this Otsutsuki god is stronger than Ishiki, and probably more powerful than the Baryon mode Naruto. And if this stronger Otsutsuki god is in usage of these Jogans, we can use some higher sense and infer that the Jogan is something of higher power within the Otsutsuki clan. We can also grab some more validation to that point from Momoshiki's last words with Boruto in the anime, in which he claims the Jogan to be inherited from his clan but also a troublesome thing. And while at the end of the day, this is all theorizing, like I said earlier, maybe a bit of headcanon, we know for sure that the Jogan is something of a higher power of the Otsutsuki clan. I mean, a power that possibly surpasses Baryon mode, as Ishiki Otsutsuki has never been recognized as the strongest of the Otsutsuki clan, because if he was, then the series would be over, meaning there are probably stronger Otsutsuki clan members and then the Otsutsuki god on top of that, which is just a power tier I don't think Baryon mode can reach and was ever meant to reach. And I mean, it's no secret, we all know that the writers have been setting up Boruto and Kawaki along with the other next generation characters to step up and contend with these higher level opponents. I mean, just take a look at what is happening now with the whole Code and Ada situation. Boruto and Kawaki are the only ones who are able to face them. So Boruto surpassing Baryon mode Naruto does check out writing rise, and like I said earlier, the power scale will continue to expand as the series goes on, and with it, Boruto's power will continue to expand. That's just how it is, and we'll be introduced to more stronger Otsutsuki characters that surpass Baryon mode that Boruto / Kawaki has to be able to defeat. And I believe it will be the Jogan that would help Boruto contend with these higher level opponents, especially with the whole troublesome statement from Momoshiki, and it is cool to see Boruto have an ability like the Jogan that is unique to him and him alone. And I mean, we may still see a different or another ability from Boruto that also contributes to a power jump, maybe something learned from the Timeskip. So yeah, to wrap it all up, again, yes, I think Boruto is meant and will be the strongest character of all time by the end of the Boruto series. He still has a mastery of the Karma Seal to attain. Boruto himself is bound to get stronger shinobi, especially with Sasuke as his master. Possibly he has another person training him. Most importantly of all, the Jogan will play an important role in Boruto's power growth. And on the writing side too, I mean, it all comes down to this. The villains will get stronger, meaning the heroes that defeat them will have to get stronger. And that hero, as we know of now, is Boruto Uzumaki. I mean, the series is called Boruto at the end of the day, and just look what happened to Naruto at the end of his series. So yeah, those are my complete thoughts on Boruto's future power post Timeskip and by the end of the series. And as a diehard Naruto fan, I will admit it's going to be hard seeing Boruto and possibly other new gen characters like Sarada, Misaki, or maybe even the Ino, Shika, Cho trio surpassing and doing things that Naruto and the rest of the Konoha 12 could never dream of, but hey, that's how it is. And the only person who really stands in the way of the video and my prediction is already valid, but becoming truly valid is none other than Kawaki, but we're not talking about that. Anyways, the end of the video. If you made it this far, might as well subscribe to the channel for more Naruto Boruto content, turn on post notifications, and most important, make sure to leave a comment on what you think of Boruto's future power and other Boruto topics you want me to cover. Maybe a separate video on Sarada, Misaki, or even Kawaki just like this. And yeah, Sasuke is the best Uber driver of all time. Have a nice day.